to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Of a school board chairman. Is there a nomination?
Mrs. Shepherd, I've been the chair for the past 6 years, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it, but I think it's time to pass the gavel, and I would like to nominate Mr. Arnold Williams. I think he will do an excellent job.
Second.
Is there a motion to close the nomination and to elect a chairman as Arnold Williams as chairman of the Warren County School Board?
So moved, Madam Chair.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. The second item on the agenda is the election of the school board vice chairman. Is there a nomination for the vice chairman?
Madam Chairman, I would move that Kathy Bauer be vice chairman. She brings a lot of institutional knowledge, and I think she'd be a great asset to Mr. Williams.
Second.
Thank you. There was a motion and a second for Kathy Bauer as the school board vice chairman. Is there a nomination to close the is there a motion to close the nominations?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor of Kathy Bauer as vice chairman of the Warren County School Board, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Let's take a brief break while the school board joins Rob and I on the dais.
Trying to get this thing to come alive. I think that was it. I might. Nope. All right. Let's back it up again, try it again.
Here comes the expert.
That's okay.
Get seated. Yes.
Get me up here.
Okay, just start typing in your username.
How about
Yep, there you go, WCPS.
members?
Oh,
All right, we'll just use this. Everybody get on.
Yeah.
And then your password, whatever you had
I
set.
think I set that at,
Okay, so just click right in here.
Okay.
Just type in all the clicks, and I'll help you get it marked and all that.
the OCS. Log in.
Just hit enter. Yep, click on that. Picking up the updates, that's why it's taking a long time. That usually wouldn't be like that, but since it's fresh. Okay. I'll go ahead and get you right where you need to
Okay.
be and then start it, so it'll be on your, next time you go in, it'll be right there. You just click
Okay.
that button. Okay, your username, password.
Kristen has agreed to. All right. You good, Mr. Rinaldi?
Yeah, go ahead. We're ready.
All right. Move on to the accept or modify the agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept the agenda as presented.
Do I hear a second?
Second, but I would like to modify it.
Okay.
If we could, to go back into closed session after our meeting so we can discuss the interviews that we had previously.
That's okay.
So modified.
Modified it.
Yes.
I'll rescind my motion and make a motion to accept the agenda as modified.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Ms. Shepherd, appointment of clerk of Warren County School Board.
Thank you. I would like to recommend that Rob Ballantyne be appointed as the clerk of the Warren County School Board. He has been the clerk for the school board for many years, and he does a fantastic job and is very knowledgeable of all of the clerk's responsibilities.
Discussion? Do I hear a motion?
I move that Mr. Valentine continue as clerk of the school board. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. And once again, Ms. Shepherd, appointment of deputy clerk of Warren County School Board.
Thank you. I would like to recommend that George R. Smith Jr. be appointed as the deputy clerk for the Warren County School Board. He has done a fantastic job the times he's had to fill in for Mr. Ballantyne, and I would recommend him for this position.
Discussion, motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move that George H. Smith Jr., also known as Buck, be appointed as deputy clerk of Warren County School Board for a term beginning January 1st, 2020 and ending December 31st, 2020.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Appointment of a school board representative on the Mountain Vista Governor School Board. Do I have any?
I have previously served on Mountain Vista Governor's School, but I believe Dr. Pence would be a great addition to Mountain Vista Governor's School Board, and I would like to nominate Dr. Pence.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Appointment of 2 building committee representatives.
Mr. Chairman, I would move that Mr. Williams as chair, and Mr. Rinaldi be appointed to the 2020 Warren County School Board representatives on the building committee.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Appointment of designee to attend meetings of the school board in the absence of Division Superintendent Ms. Shepherd.
Thank you. School Board Policy, BCA, School Board Organizational Meeting, requires the school board to appoint on an annual basis a designee of the division superintendent to attend meetings of the school board in the absence or inability of the superintendent to attend. It is recommended that George Smith Jr., Director of Personnel, be appointed as a designee to attend meetings of the school board in the absence of the division superintendent.
Any discussion? Do I hear a motion?
I move that George Smith Jr. be appointed as a designee of the superintendent to attend meetings of the school board in the absence or inability of the superintendent to attend for the period of January 1st, 2020 until the date of employment of a new superintendent.
Have a second?
I second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Consent agenda. Do I have a motion?
Chairman, I move that the consent agenda be approved as presented.
Second?
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Community participation. Community participation is a time intended for the public to give input on relevant school issues and not intended to be a question and answer period, as this may be the first time the board has heard this information. Please do not expect individual responses or any comments by the board at this time, but be assured that any concerns will be reviewed. Please print your name on the sheet at the podium, state your name and address, and limit your comments to 3 minutes. Do we have anybody who would like to speak? Seeing none, we'll move on to reports. Superintendent report. Ms. Shepherd?
Thank you. I would like to welcome our two new school board members, Dr. Kristen Pence and Mr. Ralph Rinaldi. We're looking forward to working with the two of you, as with our existing members. Today is the first day of our second semester. Our staff was excited about the return of school and students and starting the second half of the school year. Annually, VSBA, Virginia School Board Association, recognizes school board members for their commitment to effective school board governance. This evening, we are recognizing members for the 2018-2019 school year. I have 3 awards. One is for Catherine Bauer for her commitment to effective school board governance through her participation in the VSBA School Board Academy 2018-19. I have an award for Mr. James Wells for his commitment to effective school board governance through his participation in the VSBA School Board Academy 2018-19. And I have an award for Arnold Williams for his commitment to effective school board governance through his participation in the VSBA School Board Academy. And I'll hand out your certificates. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
And this pen is yours.
Okay, thank you.
And Ms. Catherine.
Thank you.
All right. Board member reports. Well, either way we start. Dr. Pence, go ahead. Lead the way.
I think I have nothing to report.
Okay, fair enough. Hate to put you on the spot like that the first night out.
Me.
I know. Well, you know,
started with
no. I might lose track of who went. Mr. Wells.
Nothing other than, hope everybody, the staff and students and parents have a real good second semester and that we get moving. I don't see it on the agenda anywhere. Ms. Ballantyne, do you want to mention the conflict of interest and the timeline for that? Because there is one.
Yes, each school board member is required annually to submit a form for the state. It's a Conflict of Interest Act form, and those are due February 3rd, is it? It's normally due February 1st, but because of the weekend, I think they give you a couple extra days. I didn't give them to you till today. I got them back in December, but you're not allowed to sign or fill them out before January 1st, and so there was no chance of that happening. They're for you tonight. For those returning members, I've given you a copy of your one you filed for last year just as a reference to help refresh your memory if you need that, and I'll be glad to help you with any questions you might have, although I'll probably defer to the Freedom of Information Act Council on any technical questions, but we'll help you with those. But they are due by February 3rd, and there are penalties if those aren't done, so those are pretty important. And we keep those on file, and they're available for the public should they be interested in looking at those.
That's it.
Ms. Bauer?
I just want to welcome Dr. Pence and Mr. Rinaldi. I'm looking forward to getting to know you both better and working with you on the board. Over the Christmas break, I had the opportunity to attend some basketball games and wrestling tournaments, and congratulations to Warren County High School with their Warren County Invitational Tournament. They came in second, and Skyline High School in the Mayhem for Millbrook, is that the name? Okay, we were at the Warren County game or tournament, so we were looking on track wrestling on our phones at the Skyline Wrestling, and Skyline actually, they came in first, and probably they set a record as far as the highest scoring for that tournament. It was over 400, so they did very well. So congratulations to them.
Okay.
That's all.
Mr. Rinaldi? Thank you.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here, and I'll do my best to serve the citizens of Warren County and the school system of Warren County. So I appreciate all your assistance that you've given me since the election in November. So thank you very much.
I would just like to wish everybody a Happy New Year, and it's kind of different for me. Ever since I've been here, it's been Madam Chair, so, you know, I'm glad she's my right hand, even though she sits on the left. But she is the right hand. She's given a lot of support to our school system over the last 6 years, and I'm proud to serve with her.
Well, thank you.
So, and Dr. Pence, congratulations, you're here. And Mr. Rinaldi, congratulations, you're here. Of course, Mr. Wells. But I look forward to working with all of you this year, and we've got a big year ahead of us. New superintendent search, remodels at AS Roads. I always say Ressie Jeffries, and I know it's AS Roads,
You
but
live next door to them.
I know, lived next door to it for a long time. So look forward to what we can do for our school system this year. Right. Action agenda. Approval of 2020 school board meeting calendar. Ms. Shepherd.
Thank you. Policy BCA requires the time, place, and dates of regular school board meetings to be set at the annual organizational meeting. According to policy file KDE, meetings of the Warren County School Board are to be held on the first Wednesday of each month, beginning at 7 p.m., and the third Wednesday of each month, beginning at 5 p.m., except during July and December, when meetings are scheduled only for the first Wednesday of the month. The attached proposed schedule follows this guidance with the following exception. The meeting normally scheduled for Wednesday, November the 18th, has been moved to Tuesday, November the 17th, so as to not conflict with the annual VSBA convention. Be happy to answer any questions.
Anyone have any questions for Ms. Shepherd? No discussion? Do I hear a motion?
I move that the proposed 2020 school board meeting calendar be approved as presented.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Approval of a resolution authorizing payment of bills in an emergency situation in the months with only one school board meeting. Mr. Ballantyne, please.
Good evening. The Code of Virginia, as well as the School Board Policy File DK, provide for the drawing of special warrants, and a special warrant is basically a check or authorization to pay a vendor. It gives that to the school board approval, prior to school board approval, if the school board has by resolution authorized a procedure. And that's what we're asking you to do tonight, is to authorize once again this year to do that. And the reason we're asking you to do that is because throughout the year, there are circumstances where it is advisable or even necessary to issue a payment prior to the next meeting of the school board. These type of circumstances may be such things as utility bills that come due, debt service payments, which have large penalties if they're late, insurance bills, contractor payments, credit card bills, and then even emergency parts and supplies where they may be on a COD basis with a vendor we have not established credit with but need parts for something immediately. So in these cases, a delay in payment may incur additional costs or even affect the operations of the school division. So we would ask again this year that you approve this resolution that would allow, with the approval of the superintendent, payment of these special circumstances prior to your meeting. These items then would be included on the clerk's report, which you get at each meeting, which normally you're approving the payments in advance before they're mailed out. But we would ask again this year that you authorize us through adoption of this resolution to do that. Be glad to answer any questions you might have about the process.
Any questions from Mr. Ballantyne? Do I hear a motion?
I move that the resolution authorizing payments of bills in emergency situations and in months with only one school board meeting be adopted as presented.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. All right. Approval of resolution authorizing payment of compensation. Mr. Ballantyne.
Okay, another item that's very similar and just as important and probably near and dear to the hearts of all those in the audience tonight deals with allowing the drawing of special warrants for the payment of compensation. And that even affects you folks up here. Prior to the school board approval, if the school board has by resolution authorized such a procedure, and again, that's what we're asking you to do, is to authorize that procedure through the adoption of the resolution. The procedure allows for the payment of all employees and school bus operators, and that's taken from the way the code's written, who are under contract, and also allows for the payment of all other employees whose rates of pay have been established by the school board and for whom certified timesheets or other evidence of the services performed have been received. So when you approve our budget each year, then you approve our salary scales. And in the salary scales are not only the contracted amounts that those mentioned in here receive through a contract, but also the rates of pay for part-time or for part-time employees. So in that case, and those employees have to be appointed first by you. So once you've approved the rate of pay, approved the person for the position, then this allows us to go ahead and pay those people based on an approved timesheet that confirms that they have worked those hours, again, before a school board meeting, so that we can do that on a timely basis. I'd be glad to answer any questions about that one.
No questions for Mr. Ballantyne? We have a motion.
I move that the resolution authorizing payment of compensation be adopted as presented.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Authorization to advertise for a public hearing for fiscal 2021 budget. Mr. Ballantyne.
Well, first of all, it's hard to believe that we're talking 2021 when we're just going into 2020, which seemed like that was way off in the distance not too many years ago, but we are there. The Code of Virginia, as well as your policy, requires school boards to hold one or more public hearings at least 7 days prior to adopting your budget. And that would be the budget you adopt to present to the Board of Supervisors. Notice of such public hearings shall be given at least 7 days prior to the hearing date and shall be advertised in a newspaper having general circulation in this locality. So what we're recommending is that you hold the public hearing for the fiscal year 2021 budget at your regular meeting, which you have now scheduled for February the 5th of 2020. And is further recommended that in case that meeting has to be canceled due to inclement weather, that the public hearing be held at your next regular meeting, which would be at February the 19th, 2 weeks later. And we advertise it that way so that if there is a snowstorm and we have to cancel the one meeting, it's advertised and we meet all the requirements that it'll be that meeting, so that's why we ask that. This follows pretty much the same schedule and the same way we have done it in the past few years, but I'll be glad to answer any questions you might have about that process.
So if we would have to move it to the 19th, we would be in this room?
This room would probably not be available that night. That's the third Wednesday in
Where would we
one of the
have it?
planning commissions. We'd probably have to have it down in our room, in the regular room, which is crowded, or you could decide to move it up to maybe the Diversified Minds, that meeting room, or somewhere else that may be a little larger. We'd sort of probably play that by ear once it happened. Hopefully it
Should
won't
it happen?
happen.
Yeah.
But we do say that we'd have that meeting at 7 o'clock. Normally, your second meeting
30.
would be at 5. And I just don't know if that's a good time to have a public hearing when you want the public to be able to be there. So we'd sort of have to play the location by ear and get word out, announcement of that, but I don't believe this room would be available.
I didn't think so.
Probably not.
Ron? Remind me again, please, when our meeting with the Board of Supervisors is?
It is the 18th, I guess, of the night before your second meeting in February. So it's the 18th of February, which is a Tuesday evening.
So
I think that's at 5:30?
Yes.
And then the Board of Supervisors has their regular meeting at 7 at night.
planning-wise, the public hearing will be before we meet with the Board of Supervisors. So-
And unless we have a weather cancellation, it will be, yes, yes.
All right. Any other questions for Mr. Ballantyne? Have a motion?
I move that authorization be given to advertise for a public hearing on the fiscal year 2021 budget at the February 5th, 2020 meeting, with the understanding that if this meeting must be canceled, the public hearing will be held Wednesday, February 19th, 2020 at 7 p.m. in the School Board Administrative Building.
Have a second?
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Approval of Warren County School Board copier lease. Mr. Grant?
Good evening.
Good evening.
The current lease for the copier at Warren County School Board office expires, or did expire in December of 2019. After reviewing the available replacement options, it is recommended that the current copier be replaced with what is attached in the in this board docs here. With that copier. The contract was competitively bid through the Association of Educational Purchasing Educations, a national cooperative purchasing program for the schools, governments, and nonprofits, and meets the Virginia public procurement requirements. The two copiers, I put the 3-year ago lease and then the current one, and you'll see there is a little bit difference in there in the cost. The reason is we added more color copiers that were automatically added in. After we had tried it out for 3 years, we had realized that we had underestimated how many color copies we use. And then also, it's a faster machine. It's just a better machine. So the cost of the copier is 36 monthly lease payments of $699 per month, with a total contract cost of $25,168, or $8,388 per year. Do you have any questions?
If our other contract expired in December,
Yeah.
what are we doing right
so,
now? Did they just
yeah,
give
you
us an
just go on a
extension?
month to month.
Okay.
Yeah, just like any lease for apartment or anything
At
like
the
that.
same price?
Yeah.
And you just raised the amount of copies to 5,000 in
Yes.
color, correct?
Yes. Yeah, and I did put in a little comparison to show
Yeah, I
you like the
saw, yeah.
overages, how much it does cost
it
if we
costs,
just
what,
pay
5.5
that
cents?
amount. Yeah, so it's considerable. So we're saving money by
It-
adding that extra in.
It seemed to save quite a bit
Yeah.
overall. Okay. Any questions for Mr. Grant?
Does this get us the same brand of copier across the
Same,
system?
yes. The same across the board. We still have two holdouts on the copiers. I'm not gonna call them out, but we know who they are.
Okay. Any other questions for Mr. Grant? Do I hear a motion?
I move that the contract in the amount of $25,164 be awarded to Document Solutions, Inc. for the lease of copier at the Warren County School Board office, and that the superintendent be authorized to sign the lease agreement.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Grant. Cedarville Ruetan donation to nurse clinics. Mr. Hirsch.
Mr. Chairman, Madam Interim Superintendent, school board members, the Cedarville Rorton Club has contacted us and generally offered a donation of $1,500 for the elementary clinics, the elementary school nurses' clinics, to be used at the nurses' discretion in those buildings to get additional supplies, additional clinic items that they might need. It was pretty simple. They were very, very generous, and we graciously said we would bring that to the school board for acceptance.
That's very generous, $1,500. I mean, that's.
Is that going to be divided equally among the 5 elementary
Yes.
schools?
Yes, ma'am.
That's nice. That'll buy a lot of supplies.
And I'm sure you have spoken to the Ruetan Club and thanked them.
And they actually came by and presented us with some information and talked to us. It was fantastic.
Good. We greatly appreciate it. Any questions for Mr. Hirsch? Comments? Do I hear a motion?
I move that the acceptance of this generous donation be approved with gratitude.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Hirsch.
Thank you.
All right. VSBA Hot Topic Conference, March 18th, 2019, Withville Meeting Center. If anybody's interested, get a hold of Mr. Ballantyne so you can make reservations to go spend 3/4 of a day in Withville with learning.
Almost have to drive down the night before for that.
It's a pretty good
It's a
haul.
drive.
It's a pretty good haul. I'm up there one afternoon. All right, we need to go into closed session. Can somebody read us?
Mr. Chairman, I move that this motion is made that this open public meeting of the Warren County School Board become a closed meeting pursuant to Virginia Code Section 2.2-3711. The school board desires to discuss the following matter in a closed meeting. Section 2.2-3711A29. Discussion of the award of a public contract involving the expenditure of public funds, including interviews of bidders or offerers, and discussion of the terms or scope of such contract, where discussion in an open session would adversely affect the bargaining position or negotiating strategy of the public body, specifically the interviewing and selection of potential superintendent search consulting firms.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Ballantyne, could you call roll, please?
Mrs. Bauer,
Aye.
Dr. Pence,
Aye.
Mr. Rinaldi,
Aye.
Mr. Wells,
Aye.
Mr. Chairman.
Aye. All right, we are now in closed session.